Edward Jenkins has asked, with New Zealand looking really strong at the minute, South Africa stuttering, out of all the favourites, who is going to win the 2023 World Cup? Everyone's talking about Ireland, France, New Zealand, South Africa. I'm English. We've got an easy side of the draw. Of course England are going to win the World Cup. Put your money on it. England for winning the World Cup in October. Come on, England!
I thought it was naive of a lot of people to only talk about Ireland and France after the Six Nations. It's because it's very much out of sight, out of mind. Because New Zealand were playing later on in the year, people thought they weren't going to be challengers. Anyone who thinks New Zealand aren't going to be challengers is foolish. Like, it's New Zealand. Like, you're never going to get a bad New Zealand team at a World Cup. I do think that it's turned into maybe from a potential 4 to a potential 3. I think it's going to be Ireland, France and New Zealand are going to be the guys competing. Won't be surprised with a good surge from South Africa, from England even. But I do think the World Cup is going to be favourites are going to have France, and I think Ireland and New Zealand have got a phenomenal chance of winning as well. But if I had to hang my hat on one, I'd say France, given home advantage.
So Harry Pages has asked, which player am I most looking forward to watching at the World Cup? Well, for me, the most exciting player that's been in the Northern Hemisphere and probably the world over the last couple of years. He's French, the World Cup's in France, he's their skipper. Antoine Dupont is an absolute world star, so I cannot wait to see him lead the French team, hopefully not to victory because that'll be England's, but I can't wait to see his impact on the World Cup. At home World Cup, he's a global superstar. Antoine Dupont's the man.
If I was looking at a player from Wales, I really like the looks of Mason Grady. I think he's a Warren Gatland type player, he's got a bit of X factor about him. Big, physical, fast, can play centre and wing. Really looking forward to seeing Mason Grady. If I'm looking at any player in general, I think the world's best player last year, and I think he's one of the world's best players this year as well, is Ardie Surveyor. And Shannon Frizzell, who plays 6 in the back row of New Zealand alongside Ardie Surveyor, has had a stunning championship with New Zealand of late as well. So some of their back row options are freaky good, and I can't wait to see those two in tandem in the Rugby World Cup. We've got one from Hugh Griffiths, says, Sam Costello could be the shortest fly half of the Rugby World Cup 2023. However, he could be physically similar to a group of other fly halves that includes the likes of Marcus Smith, Manny Libok, Nicolas Sanchez and George Ford. How important is size for a number 10? Size isn't important as a number 10. The only thing you need as a number 10 is parity in defence. You don't have to be the best defender, but as long as you can defend the starter play, then it doesn't matter what size you are. So it's much more about how you can run an attack, how you can run a kicking game. Have you got that killer pass, that cross-field attacking kick ability? Size you can cover up with a defensive system. It's not ideal. You don't want if your number 10 cannot make a tackle, then you think you're playing international rugby. You still have to have some defensive ability, but you just have to have parity in defence. Don't have to be brilliant.
That's a great question. You're talking to probably the biggest international fly half to have ever worn a 10 jersey. Not in a good way, in a bad way. These skillful young fly halves, they're small, they're powerful, they're quick. Everything that I wasn't. But you do need a bit of size, you need a bit of bulk, maybe not down the midriff, but maybe shoulders. So these boys can tackle, they're bigger than they look, and they punch a lot harder than they hit. So size isn't everything, but it was for me, and the wrong size.
Thomas Booth asks, are Wales and England going to be able to get out of their group? I back both teams to get out of their group. England will certainly get out of their group, I feel. Wales have definitely got the trickier task. Georgia and Fiji are two enormous games for Wales. They got Fiji first up. If Wales lose that first game to Fiji, which is a possibility, and if Wales lose today, Fiji could go above them in the rankings, which psychologically for the Fijians I think would be great for their confidence. That becomes a really sticky match, and that's not beyond the realms of possibility, of course. Fiji pushed Wales hard here, going back 1 or 2 years ago, last year. Arguably could have won. So Fiji will be a real challenge for Wales. It'll be the toughest pool stage I think they would have experienced in the Rugby World Cup.
Well, England will. We've got Argentina and Japan. I'm confident we'll beat at least one of those. We'll beat both of them, to be fair. We're going to win it. Wales, wow. Australia looked a lot better against New Zealand second time round. Fiji, they've lost to Fiji in France before at a World Cup, haven't they? Portugal, they're going to back themselves. And Georgia, the big unknown. Well, they are known because they can scrummage, they're big, they're powerful. And they beat them here at the Principality last November as well. So, Wales, I don't think you're getting out of the group, I'm afraid.
Kate Gill asks, which stadium is the best atmosphere to play in?
As well, I'm here at the Principality. I should say Twickenham, but we know the Twickenham atmosphere isn't always that great. The Principality here with the roof closed. I played here a few times for England, never won here, but the noise that reverberates around the stadium, this is the best stadium for atmosphere in the world, I think. Wales have got something right. Question from Steve Mitchell. Did I have any pre-match superstitions or rituals? Yes, I did. I had too many. The red cycling shorts, the gloves, they all had to go on, but it started with my pre-match meal before every game, no matter whether it was a morning kick-off, a lunchtime kick-off, an evening kick-off. My pre-match meal was always a bacon sandwich. How healthy?
Sorry for the boring answer, I don't. I walk across 3 drains on purpose because I want to prove that the universe doesn't dictate my actions. You're in charge of your own destiny, I find, so I've never had any superstitions. None of this, like players taking a shower before, left boot on first, right boot. I was all about the preparation. You prepare well, you play well, so no superstitions.
Well, Martin Corrie was my England captain for years, my Leicester captain for years. He had an obsession with turning the light switch on and off as he walked out the changing room, leading out the team. He had to do it 4 times, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. And we're all like that. What's going on here?
Hey, so Tom Sharp asks, who's the player you looked up to and grown up and why?
Well, I was a young English fly half wanting to play for England, and at the time, Rob Andrew was the England fly half, so I looked up to him as the incumbent England fly half in that 10 shirt. A fantastic player, but then as we got older, I started playing professional rugby, then I met him. Never meet your heroes. Never meet your heroes.
Easy one for me, playing number 7 in Wales, Martin Williams. I found it very strange watching myself back on TV running around in the red number 7 shirt, because I was so used to watching that ginger head running around with it. He made that shirt his own. Wasn't many games he played without getting man of the match, and he inspired me to play inside flanker. So Martin Williams was my hero growing up, and he was the first player to come and shake my hand when I turned pro, and I joined up with Cardiff, and it was one of my best experiences playing with him for a season or two with 6 and 7 together as a childhood hero. So Martin Williams, great question.